I feel worse than Hercules when they took his powers and killed his girlfriend.
I think we're live. All right, we're
We're
live.
live.
Hi there, Tackler. Welcome back to Disney Deep Dive, where each week we dive into the history, story, and details of the Disney parks. I'm Leah.
And I'm sick as a dog, Stefan, and I'm sick. And today
Yes.
we're doing a bit of a different deep dive. Even though I have 8+ pages of an outline here for the topic we were going to cover, I feel terrible. I woke up this morning super duper sick, and have recovered just enough to speak to you fine people.
Yes, we actually, if you follow on Instagram, I am LeahTackles, and he is at Small World Shirts Co. Both will be linked on the replay. And if you're watching live, comment, say hi, chat with us. And if you're watching the replay, leave some comments there. We will respond to them. But I actually took a picture of him taking a nap earlier, saying that he would not be joining us. And I certainly not forcing him to join us. He said he wanted to, but we are going to do something a little different.
Yes, because I wanted to have something to talk about, and I'm in no state of mind to talk about what we were talking about because it was already melting my brain to begin
But
with.
stay tuned for next week because I am pumped. We left a little clue on Small World Shirts Co. Instagram if you want to.
Yeah, by a little clue, we mean a big clue. So
yeah, it's
you'll
super
be able to
obvious.
figure it out. But I've got a ton of info, and I don't feel like I can actually cover it and do it justice. So we're doing something different today. We're taking a deep dive into the Disney Trivia Vault with Dave Smith.
Yes.
This is a book we got a month or two ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago in a subscription box.
And it's a bunch of random Disney facts. It covers the movies, Walt Disney himself. It covers the parks. So today we're going to be reading excerpts from the parks themselves and talking about those.
Yeah, it's a really fun book. I will link it up in the replay and description of this video. It's great for us because we love clearly Disney Deep Dive. We love all the Disney facts and the trivia, and there are some that I feel like a lot of people who are within the Disney community already know. It's like, oh yeah, obviously. Hi, Dean. But Dean's hopping on the comments. But there's some really good stuff in there that I certainly didn't know. So we're gonna see what we can find in this book.
And we have used this for research before, so it does have some really interesting facts.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So let's dive in. Well, before we dive in, I guess let's talk about this. Dave Smith, he is the chief archivist of the Walt Disney Archives. He passed away this year, actually, which I found out when I went to go email him to ask him a question, and then found out that he's no longer with us. So he has released quite a few books. Actually, they might be in the beginning of this here, when in his bio. Okay, well, I'm not going to read all of this out loud. Well, why not? I'll read it all out loud.
Here he goes. Let's hear it.
All right. Ask Dave. Beginning with the July 1983 issue of Disney Channel magazine, I began answering... I'm speaking as if I'm Dave right now. I began answering Disney trivia questions from Disney Channel viewers. My column, called Exploring the Archives, and later simply Archives, continued until January of 1994. When Disney Magazine began, the column moved to that publication with the new title of Ask Dave. After Disney Magazine ended, the column moved to the online Disney Insider, and most recently, the D23, Disney's Community for Disney Fans, website. So for almost 30 years, I have been answering Disney trivia questions in print from Disney enthusiasts the world over. Throughout this period, many readers have told me that the Ask Dave column was the first thing they turned to. After over 1,100 Ask Dave questions, many bringing up interesting information that had not been published elsewhere, I felt that it would be a fun idea to compile some of the questions in a book divided by topic. Readers can open to any page, yada, yada, yada. So that's what the book is. And that's who he
So
is.
it's like the Dear Abby of Disney. It's Ask Dave. And again, I'll link it up. And yeah, Dean said, bummer, I didn't know he passed. Yeah, Stefan figured it out when researching, like he said. And February 15th of 2019, so of this year, he passed away. So he was born in 1940. So he lived, pretty decently long life, but obviously contributed a ton to Disney. So do you want me to read the first one since you're feeling?
No, I got this.
Got it? Okay.
So this book has it goes over animated features, animated shorts, Disneyland live action films, publications, television, Walt Disney World, and Walt Disney himself. Because we talk about the parks, we're going to go into Disneyland first and then Walt Disney World second, and go over some of those facts. So the first question is, I go to Disneyland 3 or 4 times a year. On my last trip, my mother and I rode the Disneyland Railroad quite a lot. We're wondering about the telegraph sounds at the New Orleans Square station. Does the telegraph actually spell out something in code, or are they just random sounds? That is from Jeff of Reno, Nevada.
That's a very interesting question. And on the comment section, Gigi said, did I miss it again? No, Gigi, we're live right now. You're watching live with us, so go ahead and comment. Gigi's fantastic, always has fun things. Yeah. Okay.
The answer for this question is, the code spells out Walt Disney's speech on the opening day of Disneyland on July 17th of 1955, which consisted of him reading the dedication plaque. I don't know what the dedication plaque says, but that is
so cool.
Yeah, the fact that, I mean, this is one of those little details that they add in. I mean, obviously, like, the rides are known for having all those like little details and attention to detail, like to the point where it's like obsessive. But it's stuff like that where you find that out and you're like, holy cow, like who even thought of that?
Like who thought to go, I mean, you think about going the extra mile, sure, but to think to go that far, I mean, it's extremely far. It's awesome.
Like I guarantee the person who thought that up didn't know a lot about Morse code, and they would have had to then look up, okay, well, how do we spell the speech? And then, I mean, who knows how long that is? It's probably a paragraph, but still, to spell out a paragraph of speech in Morse code for something that no one is going to know about, that's oh man, it's so cool. That's what makes me love like the Imagineers in the parks so much, is that there's just all of this little detail. Yeah,
and willingness to want to do something, but then not be intimidated by the fact that maybe they don't know how, being like, okay, well, we can figure it out because we want to make this happen.
Yeah.
And we're really figuring that out the more we research into the attractions. It's really fun.
Yeah, you see that and you're like, wow, people care. Okay, you do the next one.
All right, let's see. All right, is there an Arabic inscription on the wall right before making the final left turn to the docks on the Jungle Cruise at Disneyland? What does it say? I have asked perhaps 50 people over the years and no one knows. That's asked by someone named Tom from California. And the answer is the Arabic inscription reads, fine food, fine dining, fine entertainment. I understand that it was put in that location as a plug for Aladdin's Oasis, which took the place of the Tahitian Terrace in 1993.
Awesome. And that ties into what we were going to do with the Tahitian Terrace.
Yeah, so if you're more clues super, yeah, just gonna slap you with the clues, just very obvious.
So it was let's see, so it was on the Jungle Cruise. So it was an ad in Arabic for another, see, this is just another example of like, they put an ad in another language in another ride for another attraction that they were going to
tie it all in here. I'm going to go to our comments. So if you're on the replay, these are the live comments coming in, but to all that come to this place, welcome. Is that the one? Dean, that might be. I'm not sure. I'm going to look it up though now, because if you don't know this about me, you're going to learn. When I have something like that, I'm like, ooh, I got to know. So I'm going to look that up.
Look it up while I'm reading. If it's that short, I thought it was like a paragraph, so it's not as involved as I thought. But still, that's cool.
Very cool. And Kristen's here. Hi. Yeah, aren't these facts so fun, Gigi? We love them too. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying this because, like we said, we had a whole episode drawn up and outlined, and Stefan was working super, super hard on it, but he's not feeling well.
8 pages, guys. 8 pages of information.
So get ready for next week.
I just can't talk about it right now.
Yeah. All right.
Let's see. Next one.
Oh, yes, I'm looking that up. Hang on.
Yeah, you look that up. I'll read this.
Okay.
In the Celebrate Parade at Disneyland, there is a female chipmunk character and a female cow character. Who are these characters? I've asked many people, and nobody seems to know and nobody seems to know where they originated.
I know.
Also, why were they chosen to be used in this parade? Well, obviously, yeah, the answer, the cow is Clarabelle Cow.
Yes, duh. I know. We should have asked them to ask in the comments because I'm sure they know
because that's it. How do you not know Clarabelle? She's in Mouseketeers, Mickey Mouse Club.
Clubhouse.
Yeah, all of those. So that's an obvious one. The chipmunk though, that is
Yes. Yes, Dean. Clarabelle.
Obviously.
Oh, obviously. Gosh.
The female chipmunk is Clarice, who played a nightclub singer in the 1952 cartoon Two Chips and a Miss. We always like to bring back some of the lesser-known Disney characters for nostalgia's sake, which is cool because you can bring them back and it leads to questions like this. Though there are some that I wish they would bring back all the time. I know we always wanted Max Goof to be there.
Oh, yes. He's at Disneyland quite a bit, and every once in a while Disney World, but at Disneyland, he was at a character dining there several years ago. I'm not sure if he still is, and some parades. But our daughter, when we went, when she was 4, she had written, we had a manila envelope stacked with letters and cards and pictures that she had written to Maxie because she just adores him. And then she gave them to Goofy at, we were at Tusker House, and she gave them to Goofy, and he made such a big deal, and the character handler came over, and it was so cute, and, Goofy was at college, so he was going to make sure, or Maxie was at college, so to make sure, so.
And you can see, actually, we have that in a vlog.
Yes, I always link our
Yeah, you can check that out, but it was really, really cool. And actually, another one I would like to see is Powerline, speaking of Goof Troop and a Goofy movie. If they could have like a Powerline meet and greet, that would be amazing. The guy, the pop singer in the movie, in a Goofy movie.
We're big Goofy movie fans. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention to you for a second, because I was trying to look this up here. I'm gonna let you take over the looking up that to all who come to this place Morse code while I read the next question we had marked. Let's see what's happening in our live comments. Don't remember Clarice. Me either. I would assume the girl chipmunk from Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Yes, Clarabelle. Oh, yeah. Kristen watches. She has little ones, too. So lots and lots of Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Okay. When the Haunted Mansion opened at Disneyland, were there live people who jumped out at you? I remember going on the attraction as a little girl and having to leave via an emergency exit because I was so frightened. That's by Tracy. Hey, I was that person once on a ride, or at a haunted house, not a ride, but not at Disney. Tracy from another California question. Okay. It says, from time to time, the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland added people to the attraction. One was in a suit of armor. These cast members scared even the most jaded Disneyland guests who had been through the mansion many times and thought they knew all of the special effects.
I love that so much.
Well, it's not really different than a haunted house, but...
Well, no, but just the fact that they were like, hey, people think that like this isn't scary, or like there are people going through this who are like, oh, well, that doesn't do anything. Oh, yeah, ooh, so scary. And the fact that they would like hopped in to troll those people to jump out and scare specifically the people who thought they knew what was happening is amazing.
Yeah. Dean says, I don't ever recall live people in the Haunted, but I do in the Tiki Room at Disneyland in 1974. That is so cool. Get ready for next week, Dean. Just another. If it isn't clear what we're doing next week, I don't know.
I don't remember live people in the Haunted Mansion either, though. I've never seen. I've only been in it like maybe 3 times, but I don't remember seeing any actual live people. But it's just the idea that occasionally they would throw people in there to be like, just scare these people who are pretending like it's not scary. It's so good. I did find that the speech from Disneyland on the opening day. It is. To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land. Here, age relives fond memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America, with the hope that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. So that's really cool. I've never actually read that whole thing. And the fact that they have that spelled out Morse code is really cool, too. That's actually super inspiring. So I'm going to add that to my favorite Disney quotes.
Yes, we're constantly updating. We actually shameless plug, although it's not up yet, but we did a podcast interview with some of our friends, and we'll let you guys know when it goes up. But they're fantastic. We love them. They have the Detour to Neverland podcast, Brendan and Catherine, and they asked us our favorite Disney quotes. But it's fun because it's one of those things where I hear one and then I hear another one. I'm like, ooh, I like that, and I like that. So That's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yeah.
are you checking out the comments?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, Gigi said, but how do they have live people? Because at Disneyland, it's similar to the Little Mermaid ride, so that would be dangerous. Um, Probably. I'm sure
Well,
it's not that
probably.
dangerous.
Well, and probably when it happened. I mean, this was happening back. Like, if that was added a few people, I'm assuming this isn't happening now. Like, I'm assuming that was happening years and years ago, where they would add live people, and they probably isn't something they're doing now.
But there are probably spots where they can like tuck people into.
Yes,
You know,
Dean.
oh no, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say it's the Detour to Neverland podcast, and the hosts are a married couple, Brendan and Catherine. They're really great. You can follow them on Instagram, and we love watching. They have some really, really great content. You should definitely, yeah, I'll introduce you guys, or we'll introduce you guys. They're great.
Yeah, they're wonderful. But yeah, as far as being, if in the question, the lady says that she had to be escorted through an emergency exit, so there have to be places where people can safely walk and stuff. That's probably where they have them. Just a guess. Let's see. Next question. Oh, here we go. A cast member informed me that the old Disneyland sign. Oh yeah, this one I read this one ahead of time. This one, it's not so much exciting. It's not an exciting question, but I think the answer is hilarious. A cast member informed me that the old Disneyland sign reading "The Happiest Place on Earth" was taken down when they built Disneyland California Adventure. Is this sign still in one piece somewhere? Scott of San Antonio, Texas. Disneyland auctioned off the sign. This is the answer in 2000. Actor and Disneyland fan John Stamos was the winning bidder.
Yes, John Stamos is such a famous Disney fan, though, and that's Uncle Jesse, of course, and his wife's my age, and I was like, what? Uncle Jesse? But and they have their baby and have with Disney.
Which I just Disney love people. Because it's like John Stamos. John Stamos has this sign somewhere. Where did he put it?
We should find out. Maybe we can tweet him and find out.
Yeah, maybe he has a picture. It's like, what did you do with this John Stamos?
He just wanted it.
And where is it hanging? Like, do you have a house big enough where it can be put? I don't know how big the sign was. I'm assuming it was big because it was like under the actual like theme park sign, right? Like when you're like driving up. So it's got to be giant. Is it hanging outside his house? Is he claiming that his house?
See, these answers are leaving me with more questions.
I know.
What's happening? Okay.
We need to figure this out.
All right. What do we got next? Oh, yeah. All right. An occasional patron of Club 33 at Disneyland, Lucky Ducks. My family and I have always been curious about the origin and significance of the club's name. My hypothesis is that the numeral 33 turned sideways resembles the lowercase initials of a certain familiar animated celebrity. That was asked by a man named Curtis, another California resident.
I would like to point out that I wanted to read this question in a very fancy waspy voice, but I'm just not up to it right now. So, yeah, we'll just go ahead with the answer.
The reason for the club's name is very simple. Numbers were placed on the buildings on Royal Street, and 33 happened to be the number assigned to to the building that houses the club. There is a common misconception that this number refers to the original number of participant companies in Disneyland. That's interesting. So just happened to be, and now 33 is obviously very significant to the exclusive Club 33.
That's one of those things I
really
like.
John Stamos, the actor, Dean. Yes.
Where it's like everyone has like a conspiracy theory about it, and it's like, no, it's the most obvious answer, but everyone's like, no, it means this, or it's a secret. It actually means this because of this.
It means whatever you want it to mean.
Yeah, but then it's like, no, it's the most obvious thing. Of course it's this. Let's see. No, okay. Let's see. I think that's it for Disneyland. We are going to move on to Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
Unless I didn't find anything that I thought was super interesting. Yeah. Actually, no, I'm going to read this one real quick because we did Pirates of the Caribbean a couple weeks ago.
The first ever Disney deep dive.
And this is one I missed when we were doing that research, and I wish I had found it so I could mention it. It says, I'm sure you're familiar with the scene near the end of Pirates of the Caribbean where the prisoners are trying to get the jail cell key from the dog's mouth. I have always wondered why they don't simply walk out of the open cell door not more than 10 feet away from them. Is there an explanation for this? And that's from Tino of Mission Viejo, California. The answer is, according to Rhonda Counts, a show producer at Walt Disney Imagineering, This is an example of Imagineer Mark Davis, who did all the drawings and everything for the Pirates of the Caribbean, among every other ride, the early rides anyway.
So yeah, so many.
An example of Mark Davis's sense of humor. The pirates in the cell are not very bright. They are so focused on getting the key that they are not aware of the exit next to them. I did not know that this was a thing. I didn't know that
Oh, that's like a super the dog with the key. That's like a really like, people collect the pins and the.
I knew the dog with the key, like it's in the first movie and everything. Like I knew that, but I didn't know that there was an open door like just 10 feet away from them. Which that would be confusing too, that they're so focused on that. But I don't know. That's interesting. Like I'm not sure that this answer satisfies that question because I mean maybe it does. Maybe
you have more questions now, right?
Yeah, because maybe it's just that they're silly criminals who are like, oh, come here, give us the key, but oh, the door's open over there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not sure.
All right, I'm hopping back live. If you are watching the replay, I'm hopping back to the comments. Let's see. Dean says John paid $30,700 for the sign. That's like chump change, right? I mean, for him,
really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like less than one of his cars.
Chump change, not chump change to me. Like a chump change.
No, I'll take that. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, that's interesting.
But to John Stamos, I mean.
Let's see here. Okay, moving to Disney World.
All right.
Oh, you go ahead.
Okay. Oh, thank you. All right. Let's see here. Oh, okay. Is there a list somewhere of all the animals carved into the Tree of Life? I've searched high and low and can't seem to find one. That was asked by Caitlin from New Jersey. It says Disney has not put out a list of the animals because they want guests to have fun trying to find as many as they can. There are a total of 325 animals according to the Walt Disney World website. I love this. I know some people want this stuff out there, but I like the things that they make kind of a game. I think that that's one of the wonderful things about the Disney parks is that you could go every single day. I mean, I know there are a few people out there who do go basically every day, but go every single day. There was a guy. He's been going every day. I forget what his name is. I think that might be Disneyland, but either way, you could go every day and do something different. And I think that's amazing and special. And yeah, I like they don't give it out.
325 animals? Mm-hmm. I can't even name 325 animals.
I can.
I'm like snake, deer, lizard.
We were playing a game with one of our. Well, I was playing a game with our kids earlier. It was one of my many games just to distract them. And our middle son, Connor, we were playing and I said, okay. And I was giving him clues and he had to guess the animal. And I said a farm animal. And then he said like elephant. And I was like, nobody, not a jungle animal, a farm animal. Like, yeah, it was cute.
I also love that like whoever like was responsible for like putting this together. Like, because at some point someone was like, oh, hey, do you have a list of like everything that's on there? Like we'll put it on a brochure or something. And they were like, no, they have to figure it out. and they just refused to tell them what was on there. Though I guess they give them the total, which is nice. But 325. I've seen the Tree of Life. How are there 325 animals on there? Do they have bugs on there? Like, are there like butterflies and caterpillars and...
So this book is wonderful if you like the facts.
We're getting more questions than answers.
Yeah, now we're going to be turning...
Dave Smith.
Diving down into Google. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. We're going to do a follow-up where we answer all of our questions on top of the answers.
Yeah, if you guys have suggestions for books like this, we both love them. And it would be fun for things like when stuff comes up or if we have to do shorter episodes here and there of Disney Deep Dive to read this stuff. So let us know and we'll definitely check them out.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Next question. At the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, Rod Serling, the host of the Twilight Zone, appears on a television to give a history of the hotel. Serling died years before the attraction opened. How could this footage have been filmed? Andrew of Staten Island, New York. And the answer, good question, Andrew. Mm-hmm. Rod Serling passed away in 1975. The attraction's designers used film footage of Serling from the Twilight Zone. An actor who sounded like Serling added some lines to fit the needs of the attraction. If you listen closely, you can hear the cut between Serling's voice and the new lines.
Good question. That's interesting.
So yeah,
that one leaves me with less questions than the other.
Well, yeah, it's
a good
pretty
one.
straightforward. So he was dubbed, and they cut together footage and then dubbed over other stuff. So they like cut and pasted things and put it together, which I'm sure was a challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much footage of him, so to find the right stuff to fit what it is that the story was. I would love to do Tower of Terror for one of our shows.
Yes, that's definitely on our list, as is Haunted Mansion. We want to do that close to Halloween. But yeah, let us know, as always, if you have more attractions and ideas. And I'm going to hop over to the chat. Or actually, if you want to hop at the chat, I can read the next one.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's find the next one there.
Okay.
Let's see. As far as the chat, let's see. Oh, I'm way behind. Where's the last thing you said?
So we're looking at the live chat right now, and Gigi said animals like Pooh, Nemo, and then oh no. So okay, I thought you meant it would be a fun game in the comment. How many animals can you name?
You can name that are in the park itself. Yeah, no, yeah, just in the tree.
Okay.
And he interviewed Brent on his podcast. Cool.
Well, that is super cool, Dean. I'll have to chat with you. I'd like to get a.
Oh, and Gigi says yes, please do Tower of Terror.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite movies growing up. Heck yes.
Yes, and well, that's on our list to watch because of you, Gigi. Because I saw it. I don't think. Did you say you never saw it?
I've never seen Haunted Mansion.
I've seen it, but it's been so long. So that's on our list to watch because we love.
Yeah, I know Eddie Murphy is in it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah.
I just never really. It came out at that weird time where I was like in high school and avoiding Disney stuff because
it came out when we were in high school? There's no way. What?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, that's another.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay.
You read the next one. I'm going to find the date this came out.
Okay. Last June, I visited Walt Disney World for the first time in years and found myself wondering whether they ever clean out the money from It's a Small World. If so, what do they do with it? Okay, I don't know the answer to this, but I'm going to guess that they donate it to some sort of charity. Okay. It says, some of the money tossed into the various waterways at Walt Disney World goes to Quest, Inc., a nonprofit organization that employs people with disabilities, and some is placed in our company's Ears to You account. Cast members who are Disney volunteers apply for grants for the organizations for which they volunteer, and the money is presented to the nonprofit groups each year at a breakfast honoring the volunteers. I love this, and I definitely want to look more into Quest Inc. If you know anything about it, let us know. For those of you who do not know, we have 3 children. We have an 8-year-old daughter, we have a 6-year-old son, and we have a 4-year-old son, and our 6-year-old son has special needs. So we're always into learning more about that, and especially like as he gets older and stuff. So that's really, really interesting. So
yeah, and that's
check that
super
out.
cool.
Support
like I had friends who were in the Disney college program, like when I was in college, and they would tell me that like with the food, because they did like a lot of the food stands, that everything that wasn't eaten at the end of the day, they would be put into bins and it would be given to like food pantries and homeless shelters and stuff. So like just everything that is of excess, it seems they find a way to donate it somewhere.
Yes.
And they find a good cause to put it towards, which is so awesome.
And at Run Disney events, a lot of times if you're a runner or you've been to a run like this, when you wear layers. So if you start out early in the morning, but then you're going to get hot, especially in a longer run. So a lot of people will do throwaways at big races, like especially half marathons and things like that. So they just get a shirt from, Goodwill or something like that. And then because they don't care if it's thrown away because there's not going to be someone on the course to grab it for them. But Disney takes those throwaways and they give them to people who are homeless or who are in need. So just little things like that. It's pretty cool.
So like every opportunity they have, they're like giving back in some way. Now I do have Haunted Mansion information. The movie came out November 26, 2003. So I was a senior in high school. So that was
November? Oh yeah. Okay.
So that was peak me being really into playing music in my band and being all about things that weren't Disney related. So I was aware that it had come out. I knew that it was part of a ride, especially because I was really into Pirates of the Caribbean, but I did not see it, nor have I ever seen it. So we need to watch this. This is a must.
Yeah. Thank you, Gigi, because and Stefan's really thanking you because I really want to watch Love Bug, and Stefan's like, oh, I've seen it a million times, but I want to watch that again. I'm in the mood. Okay. Let's see, what do we have next? Do you want to read? Or you want
I'll
read
read it.
There we go.
Oh, let's see. This one was a good one. Can you please tell me what actors played the aliens in the XS Tech Lab video in Alien Encounter at Walt Disney World? I know Tim Curry is the voice of the robot. I didn't know that. Jeffrey Jones is the chairman, and Kathy Najimy is Dr. Themis. But who were the others? Michael of New York, New York. Now, Alien Encounter, before I read this answer, was one of my favorite rides. Not the last time we went to Disney, but the time I went before when I was a kid with my parents. I was all about like the space horror stuff. So like
Well,
I loved Alien and Aliens.
You
and,
would have been your last childhood. We're talking now. Trip.
Yeah.
You would have been 10.
Yeah.
I think something like that.
Yeah, around there. So and I was all about like alien and scary space movies, and I thought it was so cool. So like when we went on this ride, I was like, "This is awesome," and I loved it. I was really sad to hear that it closed. But the answer to this, super interesting. The other credits we have for the extraterrestrial alien encounter are Kevin Pollak. He's Spinlock, Director of Operations, and Tyra Banks, who is the XS Tech spokeswoman.
That's
So I don't know if she's actually in like the video or if she just does a voice.
Well-
I can't remember. I was too young to know who they were.
I mean, I would assume just because it's Tyra Banks, I mean, who knows? But she would have been probably still doing the modeling, like really she was a big model at the time.
Mhm. Yeah, it would have been 90s still. And
Yeah.
the fact that Tim Curry does the voice of the robot is super cool. I had no idea. But that ride, I love that ride. I thought it was so awesome. And I was all like, when I was a kid, like I would make like alien, like out of like cardboard and tape and toothpicks and stuff. I'd make like alien models and things and like make them all scary looking. So I was all about that ride.
Oh, we've got more happening in the watching live in the chat.
Yes, it was a tad freaky.
Kathy
Alien
pronounced Najimy. Oh yeah, Hocus
Najimy.
Pocus. So excited. We watched it. Yeah, Halloween. So we'll
Encounter.
watch
Wait,
it
who's talking
again.
about Hocus Pocus. Oh, right
Gigi
there.
is right there.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Thank you. Now
Well,
it's
yeah, now I know who
connected all
that
that
is.
to us now.
No kidding. That's awesome. Man, and they all did
Now I'm
voices in
kind
that
of excited
ride.
for Halloween, which I'm a Christmas girl, but I'm excited for Halloween
I'm
now.
so excited for Halloween this year.
Yes.
What's this? Starbucks gives donate at the end of the day for sharing. Oh, okay.
Read it out loud so everyone knows, because on the
Well, I'm trying to get through them because I keep missing
Oh,
out on
okay.
like whole like chunks of them. And oh yeah, Gigi was a freshman in high school and did not watch The Haunted Mansion when it came out. Yes, agreed. I did not either. And I still have not. Oh, I'm gonna read this one too.
Okay. Go
'Cause
for
I
it.
have some backstory with this
Okay,
one.
go for it.
In the movie Xanadu, which if you've ever seen the movie Xanadu, it was on Netflix years ago. I don't think it is now, but I watched it back then, and there was an episode of this podcast, How Did This Get Made, that they did an episode on Xanadu, which made me watch the movie, and it was really, really funny, so I watched it a bunch of times. But in the movie Xanadu, starring Olivia Newton-John, the entrance of the abandoned club that later becomes Xanadu looks similar to the front gate of Disney's Hollywood Studios. Was this planned by the Imagineers or merely a coincidence? Patrick from Reston, Virginia.
All right, Patrick.
The front gate of Disney's Hollywood Studios was patterned after the entrance to the magnificent old Pan Pacific Auditorium in Los Angeles, which was destroyed by fire in 1987. Xanadu, released by Universal in 1980, used that auditorium as a set. There's really no connection here between the two, other than they use the same kind of building. But the fact that movie is just so funny and just such a
Yeah, it's getting love in the comments too.
Is
One
it?
of my favorite movies.
oh my gosh, yes, people
It
know
so
it.
does. I thought the same thing. Yes, Gigi. Oh, I'm so glad you're here tonight. This is yay. Thank you for so much too for participating a lot. It makes it a ton of fun for us.
Yeah, but yeah, that movie, I've watched it like maybe 3 times just to get just to see what they were talking about in the podcast I listened to when they were talking about it, and it's so funny, and it's one of those ones that it's just kind of goofy, and I watch it when I'm in a certain mood, and the fact that it shares something with Disneyland or Disney World,
fun.
yeah, it's kind of fun. I'm getting stuffed
Here.
up.
Okay. All right. We'll just do a couple more and
Mhm.
If Stefan makes a quick exit,
Yeah.
just forgive him. Give him some grace, all right? Okay. Okay, this is silly. Have any baby animals been born at Disney's Animal Kingdom? Shelley from Richmond, Virginia. No. Just kidding. Yes, indeed. There have been well over 100 species that have been reproduced at Disney's Animal Kingdom, including rhinos, gorillas, giraffes, and elephants. The first birth there before the park opened to guests in 1998 was kudu, a large African antelope. That is so amazing. And if you don't know, one thing that Disney does and that you can do at Animal Kingdom is you can buy a button, or I mean you can donate any different amount, but you can buy a button and they're only $1 and you can, for the wildlife fun that they have. So it's really, really cool. They do a lot of different, like I know they're doing a big one right now for lion herds, but they do all different kinds of animal funding. So it's really cool.
That was heartwarming.
Oh.
That baby animals are born there.
Well,
I mean, it's a zoo.
I thought, of course, there were.
So of course they do, but still, it's just like, you know, the elephants are born there, and giraffes and gorillas and rhinos, and that's so cool.
It is very cool.
Like all these like endangered animals are like just like alive and living there in the happiest place on earth. Let's see. Gigi asked, "What is your favorite song from the movie?" Oh, I don't know any of the names. I think maybe the one from the beginning. When it's like someone's like I can't remember now. Someone's drawing, and it turns into, or he draws a picture and it turns like it flies away and turns into real life or something. I can't remember. I remember it's in the beginning. I have to watch it again.
Yeah, that'll be added to a list of a rewatcher.
Let's see. She says, I heard that if your water breaks on the Disney parks, you and your child get free admission for life.
I have no idea,
if
but
your water breaks.
Or if you deliver the baby. I bet.
Oh, if your water, I thought like if
like,
your
what?
sink broke. I was like, if your water turns off in the hotel, I'm like, that sounds made up. Maybe.
Oh
I
my
don't
gosh.
know. That could be some weird thing where they're like, oh, you had a baby here? Sure, come back.
I don't know if anyone knows that. That's another Googler.
Interesting.
All right.
Okay, let's do a few more. And then
Okay.
we're gonna bounce out of here because
Yes.
my nose is starting to get stuffed
Yes,
up,
and
I
please,
can't talk very well.
here, let me read them. That's fine. In the comments, let us know attractions that you want to see, so we can start researching for some more coming up, and also any questions that you have from this. We will do our best to answer them on the replay if we don't know now.
Yes.
Okay, let's see.
Anything good?
Let's see. Oh, okay. Does the Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm going to read that one because it's the 20th anniversary right now, which is really cool. And I love that ride. My own personal story about that ride is that my father, who I was on a roller coaster with him, not at Disney, at a small amusement park that's actually a Six Flags now, but it wasn't at the time. And he was like, oh, Leah, you know, I was pretty young. Let's go on this roller coaster. And it was an old rickety wooden one. And I think that in his mind, it was like this, you know, nod back to like when he was growing up and just this idea of a wooden roller coaster, and thought it would be a great starter coaster for me. But if you've ever been on wooden roller coasters, they are not smooth like the roller coasters of today. They are rickety and scary. And I just remember saying, Daddy, I don't like this. Daddy, I don't like this. And my poor dad is on there probably hating it more than I did. Anyhow, fast forward to when I started going to Cedar Point and Disney and things like that, and realized, no, I just don't like old, scary, rickety wooden roller coasters. I do love roller coasters. My brother and I convinced my dad to go on to Rock and Roller Coaster. We're like, it's dark, you'll be fine. And I don't know if he loved it. We have a picture somewhere. I wish I had it to share with you guys. I'll have to see if I can find it at my parents' house. But yeah, he did go on it with us. So that was really fun because we convinced Dad to go on it. But anyhow, here's back to the question. Does the Rock and Roller Coaster play a different song for every ride? And that was asked by John, who is in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And the answer is, at the Disney's Hollywood Studio attraction, there are actually 5 specifically recorded Aerosmith soundtracks. Each Limo Train features a different Aerosmith song. Lead singer Steven Tyler and guitarist Joe Perry recorded custom lyrics and riffs for each tune. It's pretty awesome.
I feel like that's something that might have to be updated. Like I don't I don't listen to anything
The
that
ride.
other than well, just the music, because like what has Aerosmith done in like the last decade?
It's
Well, I know it's classic.
so.
I
Oh
mean,
my
that's like
gosh.
if they had like Led Zeppelin on there, and I said that, people would be like, "Oh my gosh!"
Yeah.
But it's just it's like it's so like it hasn't. They were relevant through like the early aughts.
I think they'll have to do something to keep it relevant because like for us, it's still like we're kind of like the tail
Yeah.
end of where there's like a little bit of like we may have heard our parents listening,
Well, I
or
definitely
us.
had like
Yeah.
3 Aerosmith
Yeah.
CDs when I was a kid, so like I mean I listened to them and I know who they are obviously, but it's just one of those things where it's like I haven't heard anything about them in recent history.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they've been around. I just don't pay attention anymore. That would probably be accurate because I'm not
No, I
very
think you're
plugged
right.
into pop culture. So
Okay.
let's do one more and then we're gonna get out of here. So I think
Okay.
that's all I can handle.
All right. I like this one because I am a big Monsters Inc. fan. It says, when I was recently in Walt Disney World, there was a character at the Monsters Inc. laugh floor who said that he was Mike's nephew. He is orange with purple eyes. He was so cute, and I would love to know his name. And that's from Clemens in North Carolina. And the answer is Mike's nephew is in the show, or Mike's nephew in the show is Marty. The character was not in the film, but created especially for Laugh Floor, which is kind of neat.
So the parks is just adding to the canon of these movies.
I guess for that, huh?
I wonder if they do that in other stuff. Like, are there other characters that they just invent that are now part of the movies?
Well, and I
that,
wonder why. Like, what made them do that? That's really interesting.
yeah,
Again, more questions.
because they could just add
And
any
they could
random.
put it into the movies. Like there's Monsters University, but what if they did another one and they could put it in?
I wonder if they're planning another one. They're like, hey, just create some characters that we can plug in.
That would be really cool.
That's interesting. I don't know. But like, I wonder what other rides and other attractions they've added characters to.
Oh, Epcot Bob is here. Hi. He's here
hey.
live. We are just wrapping up, but thanks for hopping on, and we will have the replay up soon. But we're going to end because Stefan is, what do you say you were, sick as Hercules?
Sick as a dog. Sick as a dog.
Sick as a dog.
My nose is starting to get really stuffed up, and it's making it hard to talk.
Yes. Who's your favorite character? Epcot Bob said that Monsters Inc. is my fave of the Pixar films. I love Sully. My maiden name is Sullivan. My dad is Mike, so Mike Sullivan. Our youngest middle name is Sullivan. He's our Sully, so I'm a big Sully fan. Thanks so much, Gigi.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, well, we want to thank theliveplace.com and Dean that they host our live stream and stream it to everyone. They are there's so many great streamers on the Live Place, and it's all family friendly, lots of Disney content, so definitely check them out. And we want to thank you for watching and participating live and watching the replay. It really does mean a lot to both of us. We appreciate having you here, and we love chatting with you. We look forward now to Wednesday nights, and it's a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely.
And Stefan's been really every bit of him enjoying all the research. So stay tuned for next week for that.
Yes, and speaking of participating, if there's a ride or an attraction that you guys want to hear us talk about or see us cover, be sure to reach out to us on Instagram.
Yes, I am at LeahTackles.
And I'm at Small World Shirts Co.
Yep, and Small World Shirts Co. is our Disney small shop. So check that out. Let us know. And we always do have a shirt to correspond with whatever attraction or ride. Today was different because we didn't have a specific attraction or ride, but there is always a shirt. So whenever we talk about an attraction or a ride, there is a shirt that goes with it, plus other shirts as well. And they're all shirts that we think are fun to wear to the Disney parks, and they're all basically attraction based. So little hints of our favorite attractions there as well.
Yeah, and be sure to tune in next week because we will have our regular show with our attraction, which I now have an extra week to add and even more info to
and
it. So
we've given you many very, very heavy clues. We just haven't quite said it, but it's pretty obvious at this point.
It will be there, and it's going to be fun. I'm really excited for it because it's a big one, and there's a ton of info and a lot to talk about. And next week you'll see why we didn't want to do it this week because there's just a lot to cover and a lot to be excited about, and I can't do that right now. So,
but I'm glad you came anyway. I
Yes,
thought
me
for
too.
sure he wasn't going to show up when he was sleeping, and that's very against his nature. When he was sleeping in the middle of the day,
yeah, I don't take naps.
yeah. So anyhow, I'm glad he's feeling better. But thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope that you have a magical day.
See you real soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.